story begins with our protagonist, Jang Soo-young, being devoured by zombies. In his final moments, he makes a desperate vow. If I ever get a second chance, I will take revenge on my girlfriend. And suddenly, he wakes up, back in his own room. In front of him, his girlfriend is yelling at him. Soo-young is confused. Did I really come back to life? Anger, sadness, and disappointment all mix into one overwhelming emotion. Chaos erupts. Zombies begin to overrun the city. Soo-young and his friends quickly build a barricade, hoping to survive the attack. Then, his girlfriend, Choi-ji, begs him to let her in. But Soo-young's kindness is betrayed. Choi-ji, a manipulative woman, opens the gate and lets in a group of gangsters who steal their supplies and murder Soo-young's friends. Furious and heartbroken, Soo-young stares at her with a cold, sharp gaze. But he knows he can't act rashly. Instead, he kicks her out of the house and slams the door shut. He looks at the digital clock on the wall. There's only 1 month left before the world collapses. Suddenly, a mysterious system appears before him. It gives him a mission: prepare for the apocalypse, acquire a piece of land, and stockpile 1 year's worth of supplies. The reward? 10 points, which can be exchanged in the system's shop. Soo-young, curious, opens the shop. What he finds inside are items and gear he's never seen before. Then his stomach growls. The world is ending soon anyway, he thinks. So he heads to a 5-star restaurant for one last feast. With just one bite, the flavors explode in his mouth. Pure heaven. After that, he visits a real estate company to buy land. But the staff mocks him because of his poor-looking clothes. One arrogant salesman even says, "If this guy can afford a toilet, I'll eat crap and stream it live." Without a word, Soo-young pulls out a black bank card. He calmly says, "I'd like to purchase a piece of land." Everyone in the room freezes. Land is expensive. Ridiculously expensive. A female sales agent warmly greets Soo-young and starts offering him various property options. Soo-young tells her clearly, "I want land near a mountain, with flowing water and easy access to transportation." After a bit of searching, he finds exactly what he's been looking for. Excited, he says, "I want to buy it right now. I can't wait to see that arrogant guy eat some fresh poop." The male salesman is stunned. Soo-young is actually paying in full with cash. Leaning in, Soo-young whispers to him, "Your turn, bro. Better do it quick. I've got a big gift for you." The whole room erupts. Everyone starts chanting for the salesman to keep his promise and eat the crap with golden brown surprise. Meanwhile, Soo-young receives a system notification. Plus 10 points earned. As for the salesman, he's surrounded by the crowd, who are determined to make sure he eats that warm crap dish, just like he said he would. The next day, Soo-young heads to the land he just purchased. His plan? Build a zombie-proof fortress before the apocalypse begins. The head contractor, Uncle Lee, tells him, "If you want this place done in 1 month, it'll cost you 20 million yuan. Soo-young nods and says, "I'll pay you next week. For now, I want everyone to start working." Then he adds with confidence, "If I fail to pay, the land will be yours." The next morning, Soo-young was stressed. How the hell am I going to get 20 million yuan to fund the construction? Then an idea hit him. The world's about to end anyway. What if I sold the land certificate to multiple people at once? Before he could act on that plan, someone knocked at his door. It was his annoying old neighbor, the one who constantly bugged him to sell the house. The old man grumbled, "Were you throwing a party last night? So loud." Soo-young denied it smoothly and said, "Anyway, if you still want to buy this house, I'm willing to sell." The old man's face instantly lit up with joy. But then Soo-young added, "You'll need to pay 5 million yuan in cash. I'll stay here for 6 more months while my new place is under construction. After that, the house is yours." The old man hesitated for a moment, then agreed on one condition: write up a contract. "I don't want to be tricked." Deal done. Now Soo-young had 8 million yuan. He opened the system and accepted a new task: stock up supplies. Soo-young rushed to the supply store and started buying everything. Carts overflowing to the point they piled up in front of the cashier. Mission complete. Plus 10 points earned. Without hesitation, Soo-young opened the system store and traded the 10 points for a mysterious box. Inside was an item, a level 1 spatial ring. It had a storage space of 500 meters by 3, and even crazier, time stopped inside the ring. Soo-young grinned like a kid on Christmas. Suddenly, a new system mission appeared. Prepare supplies for 10 years. Reward, 20 points. An hour passed as the cashiers scrambled to count his ridiculous pile of goods. Your total is 56,884.3 yuan. The angry store manager showed up, scoffing at Soo-young's ragged clothes. "Pay up, beggar. Stop wasting our time." But Soo-young, cool as ever, slid his black card across the scanner like a sword. Transaction successful. The rude manager turned to walk away, but Soo-young stopped him. "You were rude to a customer. Apologize, or I'll return everything." The manager was furious, until the other customers backed Soo-young up, pressuring him. Embarrassed, the man bowed and apologized. Soo-young patted his head like a kitten and said, "Good boy. Be more polite next time." Later, Soo-young followed him to a warehouse to pick up the items. Just then, a luxury car pulled up. A man stepped out. It was the manager's older brother. The man grabbed Soo-young's shirt with a smug look and sneered, "Fake brand. You're just pretending to be rich." Soo-young didn't waste a second. He transferred 1 million yuan right to the guy's account. "Go call more people," he said. "I'm about to buy a lot." And Soo-young walked into the warehouse. But when he checked the supplies, he noticed something fishy. Almost everything was about to expire. "This guy's trying to scam me," he thought, but Soo-young just smiled. He had a better idea. "I'll buy all of your near-expired stock," he said, "but at 50% off and I'll pay next month." The man looked skeptical. Soo-young added, "If I don't pay, you can take my house as collateral." The man couldn't refuse. With the deal done, Soo-young left and told Yang Tao and his brother to start prepping the delivery. Back at home, an old man came to see him. It was the same buyer for the house. The grandfather explained, "My grandson is moving here for school. I need this house badly." Touched and thinking smart, Soo-young finalized the paperwork and completed the sale. Then, he rushed to check on his secret project, the Doomsday Fortress. "Uncle Lee," Soo-young called. Uncle Lee greeted him warmly. "How's construction?" Soo-young asked. "We're 80% done," Uncle Lee reported. "Everything's reinforced with high-grade materials. It's safe." "Perfect." Soo-young made a call and ordered the delivery of his newly acquired supplies. Then, he personally distributed them into the underground warehouse in his fortress. Hours later, it was all organized. Mission complete. He had successfully stocked 10 years' worth of food. Plus 20 points earned. Without hesitation, Soo-young opened the system and spent 10 points on a new skill. Spiritual Eye, Level 1. Could detect evil intent in anyone. Right after that, a new task popped up. Prepare weapons. Soo-young smiled. Finally, this is the part I've been waiting for. Night fell. In a dark corner of the city, a black market came alive. And among the shadows, Soo-young walked in, searching for something special. He approached a vendor selling knives. "Boss," Soo-young asked, "got anything stronger?" The man scoffed. "If you want something stronger, make it yourself." Soo-young didn't flinch. He stared right into the man's eyes. "I said, I want something harder." The man was about to lose it, until he got a notification. 200,000 yuan received. Soo-young smiled. "I'm serious." The vendor nodded, now treating him with respect. "Follow me." They went deeper into the alley, where he showed Soo-young a locally made pistol. Soo-young frowned. "Too cheap. I'm ready to spend 2 million yuan. Give me something worth it." The vendor's expression changed. "Wait here." Minutes later, he returned, looking a little nervous. "I can get you what you need," he whispered. "Write down your request. I'll send you a location. Come 2 days from now at midnight. Bring cash." As Soo-young stepped out of the store, he ran into someone unexpected. His ex's new boyfriend, the side piece. The man laughed and mocked him, throwing insults left and right. But Soo-young stayed calm. He activated his new skill, Spiritual Eye. A purple mark appeared above the man's head, a sign of evil intent. Soo-young chuckled, then replied, "Chui Jing, my ex, really suits second-hand jewelry from this black market, because she's second-hand herself." Enraged, the man charged at Soo-young. But before he could land a hit, the weapon vendor stepped out. "Is he your friend?" he asked. "No," said Soo-young. "He's my enemy." "Understood." The vendor turned around and beat the guy to a pulp. "No one messes with our top customer." 2 days later, Soo-young arrived at the address. Mission complete. He earned 10 system points and got a bonus, a physical strength enhancement elixir. He injected it immediately. His body trembled. Strength plus 40%. Not satisfied, Soo-young bought another elixir from the system store. His body lit up like it was on fire. Stamina, 8 points. Strength plus 60%. To test it, he kicked a steel bar. It bent like rubber. Satisfied, he walked toward the box truck carrying his weapons. With one gesture, he stored everything into his space ring. The armory was complete. The next morning, Soo-young paid a visit to the old man who had bought his house. The man was honest and kind, so Soo-young returned the favor, bringing him supplies. Inside, Soo-young noticed a photograph. It was a young woman. Her name? Meng Shanshan, the old man's granddaughter. Soo-young froze. He knew her. In his past life, they had survived together. But this time, he had a chance to make things right before the world collapsed. "Let's go see your granddaughter," he said. Minutes later, they arrived at her school. But what they saw broke his heart. Shanshan was being slapped by another girl, accused of getting too close to the guy she liked. "I didn't," Shanshan protested. "We're just friends." Another girl kicked her in anger. "You liar." They grabbed her hair and pulled her down. That's when the old man yelled, "Hey, "Don't you dare touch my precious granddaughter." But a group of school delinquents blocked his path. He didn't care. He pushed through, trying to reach her. Suddenly, a thug raised a baseball bat at the old man. But before it could land, Soo-young arrived. With a flying kick, he sent one of them flying. A bald guy charged at him. Soo-young ducked, dodged the punch, and threw him backward like a ragdoll. Another came from behind, swinging a knife. Soo-young reacted fast. He kicked the guy's leg, and the thug collapsed face-first to the ground. Soo-young wasn't going to let history repeat itself. This time, he was here to protect. Soo-young now turned his attention to the two girls who had bullied Shanshan. He walked straight toward them. Without a word, he slapped the girl in black across the face, then grabbed the hair of the girl in white, pulling her down. He pulled out a knife. "Still feel brave," he said coldly. With one swift motion, he cut her long hair, leaving it jagged, messy, and uneven. "Consider this mercy," he whispered. Terrified, the girls didn't say a word. Soo-young turned to the old man and Shanshan. "Let's go." They left the school grounds in silence. Inside the car, the old man gently spoke to his granddaughter. "Shanshan, something terrible is coming. A global disaster. Famine. Chaos." Shanshan looked confused. "Wait, who is he?" The young man smiled faintly. "My name is Jiang Xiaoyong, but just call me Soo-young." He looked straight at her. "In a few days, the world will change. A poisonous mist will spread, and it will carry a virus. One by one, humans will turn into zombies." The silence in the car grew heavier, because this wasn't just a warning, it was a prophecy. Night had fallen, and Soo-young drove Shanshan and the old man to a hidden fortress, a place he had secretly prepared for the apocalypse. "This will be your safe zone," he said calmly. "Get some rest, because starting tomorrow, the world will fall into chaos." The next morning, sunlight pierced through the windows. Soo-young stood by the glass, watching the stillness outside. From behind, Shanshan appeared, stretching. "That was the best sleep I've had in weeks." She smiled. Soo-young nodded. "Let me show you around." He led them through the high steel gates, barbed fences, and reinforced barriers. "This fortress is off limits. No one enters without my permission." "But what if someone survives and needs help?" Shanshan asked. Soo-young paused, then pointed to a space out back. It was a secondary shelter, a temporary place for survivors. They can stay there, but they don't step inside this core zone. Ever. Then, he showed them the food storage, a large, cold warehouse packed with supplies. After that, he activated his ability, the Eye of Truth. A faint green glow appeared above both of them. Then, with a flick of his hand, Soo-young summoned a supply box from his dimensional ring. He opened it. Inside were weapons. "In the apocalypse, weapons are survival," he said seriously. "Stay near them. Never let your guard down." Suddenly, a system alert appeared before him. New mission. Recruit a companion to survive the apocalypse together. A glowing arrow floated in the air, pointing far into the distance. Soo-young turned to them one last time. "This place is yours for now. Keep it safe." And just like that, he left, off to find a new ally. Elsewhere, inside a flashy karaoke bar, a group of carefree young men were partying. One of them, white-haired and a bit cocky, left to use the restroom. But as he turned a corner, he accidentally bumped into a woman. Her boyfriend saw it, didn't ask questions. He kicked the white-haired guy straight into the wall. Fists flew. Chaotic fight broke out. Security rushed in, trying to separate them. "Call your boss." He and his friend ran back to the main room. Moments later, a group of men barged in, dragging the security guard beaten and unconscious. The room fell silent. The thugs barked, "Everyone on your knees. Now." One of the young guys tried to resist. "I'll call someone who'll destroy you." A wine bottle shattered across his head. Outside, Soo-young had just arrived. He looked up at the neon sign, Echo KTV. With no hesitation, he walked inside. Inside the room, the young man who had just been beaten suddenly began to change. Within seconds, he turned into a zombie and sank his teeth into the nearest man. Then, from behind, Soo-young appeared. He grabbed the zombie by the neck, lifted it into the air, and slammed it hard onto the ground. "Everyone stay back, and don't move," Soo-young commanded. He turned to the white-haired young man. "Zhang-chi, are you alright?" he asked. Without wasting time, Soo-young led Zhang-chi away from the chaos. He dragged the zombie's body into the restroom and shut the door behind it. Then, with a cold look, Soo-young turned to Zhang-chi and asked, "Alright, tell me, who do I need to beat up first?" One of the thugs tried to attack him. Soo-young calmly blocked the punch, grabbed the man's face, and slammed it into the floor with brutal force. Another guy came running toward him, but with lightning speed, Soo-young landed a heavy punch straight to his face. The man dropped instantly, knocked out cold. And with a sharp voice, Suyong looked around and shouted, "Anyone else want to test me?" Suyong then ordered Zhang Qi to gather his friends and take them outside, telling them to wait for him. The thugs wanted to leave as well, but Suyong wasn't having it. With a swift push, he shoved the thug back and slammed the door shut. Suddenly, from behind, a man began to transform into a zombie. He attacked without warning. Suyong quickly locked the door, making sure no one could escape. He then told the security guard to call the police, explaining that a drunk man was causing trouble inside. With no suspicion raised, Suyong and the young men quietly slipped away. The security guard tried to peek inside the room, and the expression on his face showed pure horror, as though he had seen something truly terrifying. Inside, the thugs had all turned into zombies, devouring each other. The woman who had died earlier was slowly being eaten by the zombies as well. Suyong quickly told the young men to get in the car, because this place was no longer safe. Inside the car, Zhang Qi thanked Suyong for saving him. Suyong introduced himself and explained that the world was on the brink of an apocalypse, and that soon everyone would be turned into zombies. On their way, Suyong and the others saw a zombie attacking a civilian. Suyong told the young men, "Follow my lead if you want to stay alive." The system appeared, notifying Suyong that he had completed his task and earned 20 points. He opened the system store, eager to see if there were any new items available. Meanwhile, Chue Jing, Suyong's ex-girlfriend, was on the phone with her boyfriend, asking for supplies because the world was falling apart. Suddenly, someone knocked on her door. It was her friend. She told Chue Jing to call Suyong and ask for his help. On the other side, Suyong returned to his stronghold. Zhang Qi was surprised to see that Suyong's house looked more like a fortress. Shan Shan and old Grandpa Kikek came to greet Suyong upon his return. Suyong asked them to introduce themselves to the new friend, Zhang Qi. It turned out that the old man's name was Shang Bo. He introduced himself to Zhang Qi, and so did Shan Shan. Suyong then asked Grandpa Bo to show the new friends around, explaining the rules they had to follow in the stronghold. Suddenly, someone asked Suyong for a weapon. Suyong watched the man carefully, sizing him up. The fat man beside him told his friend not to rush and to earn Suyong's trust first. Suyong calmly replied, "Don't worry, I'll provide weapons in the next few days." Meanwhile, one of the young men was not happy with Suyong. On one hand, they were protected, but on the other, they felt like prisoners. He started to think that maybe the injured friend would have his organs taken and sold. He quickly told the other young men to act before Suyong noticed anything. He was planning to betray Suyong and take control of the stronghold. Meanwhile, Shan Shan and Grandpa Bo reported to Suyong that they had completed their task, and that the injured boy was resting now. Suyong thanked them and told them to take a rest. He then gave some advice, warning them to be careful with two of Zhang Qi's friends. He had a bad feeling about those two. In the middle of this, Suyong went to the warehouse. He opened the system store and bought an Apocalypse agricultural supply box, along with sugar, oil and protein boxes, and armed deterrence boxes. In an instant, mountains of valuable goods and supplies piled up in front of Suyong. The next day, a large group of people approached Suyong's place. One man ordered his men to raid the place and capture Suyong. However, one of his subordinates said that the door was too thick and couldn't be breached with ordinary means. The boss got angry and ordered them to use stronger tools. One of the men grabbed something from the car's trunk. It was a Molotov cocktail. The men threw the Molotov cocktails into Suyong's house. A massive fire broke out, and flames engulfed the house. Quickly, Shan Shan, Zhang Qi, and their friends brought water to try to extinguish the spreading fire. Meanwhile, Suyong and Grandpa Bo prepared their weapons. The two of them climbed up the tower to see who had the guts to attack their stronghold. Turned out, they were the same group who had caused trouble with Suyong on the streets just a few days ago. One of the gang members noticed someone up in the watchtower. He reported to their boss that they had left the building and were now on the watchtower. Grandpa Bo asked, "Should we fire a warning shot?" Suyong replied, "No need, just shoot them. They're clearly criminals who don't follow the rules." Suyong fired his weapon, hitting the gang boss's arm. The boss screamed in pain as his arm was shattered. He ran, ordering his men to protect him. Suyong didn't like to procrastinate. He was determined to finish this now. A hail of bullets greeted them, piercing through their bodies. A few of them managed to survive and got into a car. Without mercy, Suyong shot at the car, ruthlessly tearing it apart. Meanwhile, Grandpa Bo was astonished at Suyong's shooting skills and positioning. He couldn't help but wonder, who exactly is this Suyong? In the end, all the gangsters were killed on the spot. Suyong then told Grandpa Bo to let the bodies of the criminals turn into zombies. That would be good practice for them. On the other side, Chue Jing and her lover were heading somewhere in a car. Turned out they were heading to Suyong's place. Her lover made a phone call, And of course, it was to his friends who were preparing to ambush Suyong. Cui Jing and her friends were just being used as bait. They reached their destination and saw something in front of them. It was the bloody bodies of the gangsters scattered around the area. But they didn't realize that, from behind, someone was rising up, transforming into a zombie. The two women knocked on the door. From the watchtower, Shan Shan asked, "Who are you, and what do you want?" Cui Jing replied, "I'm Suyong's girlfriend, and I want to see him." Shan Shan reported to Suyong that there were two women who wanted to meet him. Suyong appeared and coldly asked, "What do you want, you shameless woman?" Suyong activated his truth eye skill, and immediately he saw the malicious intent above their heads. With a firm tone, Suyong said, "Get out of here. I don't care about you. Go sleep with that beast of a man, Li Shuxiong." Both women were taken aback by his words. Without hesitation, Suyong unleashed a barrage of bullets from his automatic rifle, raining them down on the two women. Meanwhile, a man named Chong, who had been ill, slowly began to transform into a zombie. Outside, the gangsters' corpses started to rise, turning into zombies as well. They attacked Cui Jing and her companion. Desperate, they cried for help from their lover. However, a man named Shang told his friends to turn back, abandoning the two women, those materialistic, worthless women. In a cruel act, Cui Jing threw her bag, which struck her companion's leg, causing her to stumble and fall. Without mercy, the zombies attacked her, tearing into her flesh. Her friend couldn't do anything, slowly being devoured by the zombies. Cui Jing, heartless, ran away, leaving her friend behind. From the watchtower, Suyong observed the entire scene, and the system awarded him 10 points for completing the mission. A new mission appeared, telling Suyong to clear the zombies from the area around his home. After that, Suyong instructed Shan Shan to gather everyone for a meeting. He told them they would need to adapt to the contaminated air and stay inside for the next 2 days. Meanwhile, in the city, chaos reigned. People were running in panic, fleeing from the disaster that had befallen them. Suyong faced a new problem. Chong, who had been sick, suddenly rebelled and turned into a zombie. Zhang Qi's group suggested they kill him immediately. Su Chun shot them a sharp glance. Zhang Qi, however, was not willing to accept this. Chong was their good friend, and at the very least, they should try to cure him first. But Suyong disagreed. He stated firmly, "Anyone who turns into a zombie cannot be cured." He grabbed a machete and ordered Zhang Qi's friends to kill him. Then, in a quiet whisper, Suyong added, "Wasn't this what you've always wanted, weaponry?" Suddenly, Zhang Qi stepped forward and intervened, holding back his friends. He spoke up, "Let me handle this." Zhang Qi stood ready with his knife, determined to end Chong's suffering with a swift stab. But Suyong stopped him. He ordered everyone to leave the room, as something special was about to happen. The system alerted Suyong. A rare mutant has appeared. Suyong and his friends exited the fortress, heading toward an unknown destination. But one zombie noticed them. Suyong shouted for everyone to stay vigilant, keeping a safe distance from the creature. He skillfully dodged the zombie's attack. The overweight man raised his machete, slashing at the zombie's head. But the blow was met with unexpected resistance. Suyong commented, "The zombie's head is the toughest part. You'll need to put all your strength into it." The heavyset man held the zombie back with his machete. But the creature didn't give up. From behind, Zhang Qi rushed in with a baton, delivering a powerful blow to the zombie's neck. Meanwhile, another man approached, trying to sneak into Suyong's territory. He crept closer, watching what Suyong was doing with the zombies. However, beneath the car, a female zombie suddenly emerged. The zombie grabbed his pants, pulling him to the ground. The zombie pounced on him, preparing to devour him whole. From behind, Suyong shot the zombie's head, shattering it instantly. He then turned to Zhang Shengze, asking, "Why are you here?" Seeing him approach, Suyong pointed his weapon at Shengze's head, demanding, "What do you want?" Shengze explained. He needed Suyong's help to rescue his wife, who had been kidnapped by his own brother. His brother threatened to throw his wife to the zombies if Shengze didn't comply with his demands. Suddenly, a new task appeared from the system: rescue Shengze's wife and child for 25 points. Suyong agreed to help Shengze, promising to protect them. Shengze bowed deeply in gratitude, thanking Suyong for his kindness. Before leaving, Shengze asked one final request: to be killed before he could harm anyone else. Suyong refused, telling him to go to a remote place, where he would provide a bicycle for his escape. Shengze pedaled as fast as he could, his body slowly becoming infected, turning him into a zombie. Meanwhile, at the fortress, Suyong gathered the corpses of the zombies he had slain, and burned them with a massive fire. The The system awarded him 10 points for completing the task. Soo-young then gathered his friends and led them on, heading towards a reinforced steel door, 10 millimeters thick. He handed the key to Grandpa Bo, telling him that he would leave for the city tonight, and entrusting the fortress's security to him. Soo-young entered his car, but not before buying a potion from the system shop. This potion would boost his physical strength by 5 points. Without hesitation, Soo-young injected the potion into his body. Almost immediately, he could feel the effects, his body reacting with newfound power. Now, Soo-young could see his own status and attributes clearly. Meanwhile, at Shang's home in the city, his son cried as his wife comforted him. But suddenly, 2 men barged in, kidnapping the wife and dragging her away. They forced her to play and entertain them, while her son watched in fear. However, their boss arrived, commanding, "Hold off on everything for now. Let's finish the Shangza issue first, and then I'll allow you all to do as you please." The group reluctantly obeyed their boss's orders. For now, Shangza's wife was safe, at least for a while. Meanwhile, on the highway, Soo-young was driving his car, his strength now twice as powerful as a normal human's. He stopped in the middle of the road, realizing that driving a car through the city would attract too much attention, especially from the zombies who would instantly come after him. He got out of the car, and from behind, a zombie attempted to attack. Soo-young quickly dodged and slammed the zombie away, sending it flying. He drew a machete from his side, and in no time he killed 2 zombies that had been bothering him. Soo-young could hear something in the distance. His senses heightened drastically due to the increased abilities. Suddenly, the system triggered an emergency mission for him. Meanwhile, in the city, zombies were trying to break into a convenience store. The people inside struggled to hold the entrance closed, fighting to keep the zombies out. But then, one by one, the zombies dropped dead. A police officer ordered the others to clear the way, saying he would check what was happening outside. When they stepped out, they saw no one at first, but behind the building, they spotted Soo-young standing there. The officer said to him, "You shouldn't be wandering alone during a disaster like this." He then told Soo-young to join their group, to meet up with the survivors gathered at Rongshang Park. The kind officer and his uncle welcomed Soo-young, urging him to join them for safety. Suddenly, a zombie appeared, startling everyone, and it prepared to attack the police officer. Without hesitation, the officer shot the zombie in the head, killing it instantly. However, the gunshot attracted the attention of other zombies nearby. The officer saw this and, acting quickly, shouted at everyone to run and get into the bus. Soo-young entered last, and the officer immediately closed the doors, locking them tightly. But the zombies outside weren't giving up. They were still gathered around the bus, waiting for their next prey. The officer struggled to hold the door shut, but his stamina was quickly running out. Soo-young stepped in to help him, holding the door with just one hand. The officer was shocked by Soo-young's strength. Soo-young ordered the officer to break the window glass and fight back against the zombies outside. One by one, the bus windows shattered. Uncle, holding a sharp iron rod, stabbed a zombie through its chest. The officer, unsure of what to do, realized his ammunition was running low. Without missing a beat, Soo-young handed the officer a crossbow. He told the officer to use it to kill the zombies outside. The situation grew even more chaotic, but eventually, they succeeded in killing all the zombies. Soo-young urged everyone to stay alert, as the danger wasn't over yet. Meanwhile, back at the fortress, a young man named Yi-ming volunteered to stand guard that night. Grandfather Bo trusted him and assigned him the task of keeping watch for the night. In the watchtower, Yi-ming sat quietly, thinking that perhaps everyone else had already fallen asleep. Yi-ming began to carry out his evil plan. He quietly sneaked into Grandfather Bo's room. Without making a sound, he took the keys that were lying next to Grandfather Bo, who was asleep. But Grandfather Bo woke up and screamed, "Yi-ming, what are you doing here?" Yi-ming, startled, struck Grandfather Bo on the head. Then Yi-ming fled, leaving Grandfather Bo behind. The noise woke everyone up. Grandfather Bo, with a bruised face, gasped, telling everyone that Yi-ming had taken the keys to the armory. The others scrambled to stop Yi-ming. Yi-ming, in his haste, dropped various items to block their path. As Yi-ming rushed ahead, he glanced at the medical room. He entered and found Chong, who had turned into a zombie. Without hesitation, Yi-ming freed Chong from the iron shackles that bound him. The others ran toward Yi-ming, trying to capture him. But in their path stood Chong, the zombie, blocking their way. Grandfather Bo and Shanshan were worried and guilt-ridden, wondering how they would explain this mess to Soo-young. They moved closer to Chong, and Zhang Qi struggled with all his might to hold the zombie back. Grandfather Bo warned them to be cautious, and told them to bring Chong back to the treatment room. They managed to subdue Chong and locked the door securely. A moment later, Yiming reappeared, holding a weapon. There was only one weapon left in the armory. Yiming aimed the weapon at his friends and ordered them to surrender and bow to him. Inside the medical room, Chong, now a zombie, watched Yiming holding the weapon, ready to attack the others. Chong calmly observed the situation, key in his hand. Meanwhile, in Rongshang City Park, Suyong parted ways with the kind-hearted officer and uncle. The officer told Suyong, "After you finish your business, please meet me at building number 8 in Rongshang Park." Suyong thanked him and left. Meanwhile, at Shang Zai's house, a man stepped outside the front door, and in an instant, a blade slashed across his head. He died instantly, his head rolling lifelessly across the floor. Inside the house, a group of depraved men, driven mad by their lust, had one goal tonight: to do whatever they wanted with Shang Zai's wife. They dragged Shang Zai's child away, slapped his wife across the face, and tossed the child outside before slamming the door shut. Lying there just outside the door was the headless corpse of the man who had just died. That's when Suyong appeared. He looked at the frightened child and asked, "Are you Shang Zai's son?" The boy, terrified and trembling, replied, "Yes, I am." Back inside, the sick men began torturing Shang Zai's wife. But suddenly, bam! The door burst open. A flash of steel cut through the air. Another man's head was sliced clean off and hit the ground with a thud. Suyong entered like a storm, grabbing one of the men and slamming him hard against the wall. Then, with one brutal kick, he crushed the bald man's head, the one who had planned to defile Shang Zai's wife. Meanwhile, back at Suyong's stronghold, Chong, now fully transformed into a zombie, walked out of the medical room on his own. His face was twisted in rage. He was furious with Yiming. Yiming raised his gun to shoot, but click, the weapon jammed. It was useless. Chong lunged forward and sank his teeth into Yiming, tearing him apart on the spot. Despite his injuries, Yiming was still alive, barely. Chong dragged his half-dead body, his stomach torn open, back into the medical room. Then, quietly and methodically, Chong locked the door shut. Back at Shang Zai's house, Suyong had managed to capture the depraved men and rescue both Shang Zai's wife and their child. He called the boy over, looked him in the eye, and handed him a knife. Then, in a chilling but steady voice, he told the boy to use it to kill the men who had tried to hurt his mother. The men screamed like pigs about to be slaughtered, their cries loud and desperate. Shang Zai's wife cried out, "But he's just a child." But Suyong, cold and composed, began brainwashing the boy, telling him, "From now on, little bro, you're a hero, the only one your mother can count on to protect her." Fueled by rage, the boy let out a cry and charged at the men. With trembling hands but fierce determination, he stabbed the monsters, right in the heart. One by one, he killed the ones who had hurt his mother. His mom stood there in shock. She couldn't believe it. He really did it. Damn. Then the boy turned to Suyong and asked, "Were those the ones who killed my dad?" Suyong nodded. "Yes. They were the ones who killed your great father." And with that, the boy broke down in tears, crying in his mother's arms. Suyong gave them a moment, then asked them to come with him. He had promised Shang Zai he would protect his family no matter what. Together they left the house, staying alert with every step. Suddenly, Suyong raised his hand, signaling them to stop. He heard something. On the other side of the city, at the Rongxiang Park building, a group of gangsters had arrived, demanding food supplies and young women. But the kind-hearted uncle and the police officer, along with their small group, stood their ground. They prepared to fight. From a distance, Suyong watched everything unfold. These were good people, people who had helped him, and now, they were in danger. Suyong raised his weapon, aiming at the gangsters. Then, rat-a-tat, bullets rained down from behind, brutally tearing through the gangsters. From the window, the police officer looked out and saw him. It was Suyong, charging forward, an AK-47 in his hands. Suyong kept firing, brutally unloading bullets into the gangsters without hesitation. The gangsters quickly fought back, returning fire in a desperate attempt to survive. Their leader took cover behind a metal crate, barking out orders, "Take him down." The gangster leader saw his opening. He crept forward, gun in hand, and aimed it straight at Suyong's head. Bang! The shot rang out, but Suyong dodged it at the last second. In one swift move, he grabbed the gun, twisted it around, and shoved the barrel right between the man's eyes. Without a single word, bang! The gangster boss collapsed, lifeless. Suyong stepped into the building, his boots echoing on the concrete floor. In the shadows, more gangsters lay in wait, ready to ambush him. They sprang out all at once. But Su-young slaughtered every last one of them with ruthless precision. When the dust finally settled, he reunited with the kind people who had once helped him. Just then, a system notification appeared in his mind. New mission. Recruit the surviving civilians, reward 25 points. Wasting no time, Su-young turned to Officer Lee. Uncle Lee, he said, gather all the weapons from the dead gangsters. We'll need them in case of an emergency. Then, Su-young handed his own AK-47 to Uncle Lee. A serious look in his eyes, he warned them, these guys aren't done. They'll be back, stronger and in greater numbers. And they'll stop at nothing to wipe out the survivors. Su-young continued, stay hidden here for the next few days. I'll return with a large vehicle, and I'll take everyone to a safer place. And with that, they parted ways, each one watching the other fade into the distance, hoping to survive until they meet again. After everything, Su-young finally returned to his fortress. A system notification appeared. Mission complete, plus 25 points. Su-young muttered to himself, just as I thought. Yiming was the real traitor all along. Shan Shan's eyes widened. You already knew? Su-young nodded. Then he introduced Sheng's wife and the little bro to everyone. He turned to Zhang Qi and said, take them to your room. Let them rest. After they left, Su-young continued, I knew one of your friends would betray us. I just didn't expect it to be Yiming. Then he explained, Chong isn't just an ordinary zombie. He's a rare mutant. He opened a metal door, and behind it was a gruesome scene. Yiming's corpse was being torn apart, piece by piece, by none other than Chong. Blood splattered the walls. Flesh dangled from Chong's claws. Chong looked up and smiled. Hey Su-young, he said calmly, like it was just another day. Su-young didn't even blink. No need to torture him anymore. Just finish it. Chong grinned and did exactly that. Su-young turned away, walking back to his room. Ding. Plus 10 points. Total. 46 points. Opening the system store, he spent some of his points on treasure crates. Inside them, a powerful sniper rifle, and something even more precious, a zombie vaccine. The next morning, Su-young stood before the entire group. From now on, he said, everyone here will do shooting drills. 1 hour. Every single morning. He then turned to Grandpa Bo. I'll be bringing in some new people today. Prepare a place for them. Finally, Su-young looked at Chong. Come with me. The two of them headed out into the empty streets. Silent, tense. Then they saw it. A bus rolling down the road, driven by a zombie. Su-young didn't hesitate. He hijacked the bus, tossed the zombie driver out, and handed the wheel to Chong. Drive. Zombies were swarming in the middle of the road, a horde of the undead, blocking the way forward. But Su-young didn't even slow down. With a cold, merciless expression, he stepped on the gas and rammed through them, bodies flying, bones cracking. It was brutal, savage. Meanwhile, at Rongshang Park, Officer Lee waited nervously, surrounded by his group of survivors. Suddenly, the sound of a vehicle echoed from a distance. He raised his hand. Stay calm. No one move. He turned to the window to see who it was, and then his heart dropped. It wasn't Su-young. It was them, the criminals, back to avenge the death of their comrades. They stepped out of their vehicles, raising their weapons toward the building, and opened wild, chaotic fire. Bullets tore through the air. Glass shattered. Walls cracked. Their leader stepped forward with a megaphone, ready to speak. But before he could say a word, a bullet pierced his assistant's skull. Headshot. Clean. Instant. From the rooftop, Officer Lee stood, calm and ready, AK-47 in hand. The gangsters panicked. This is a failure. Retreat! The boss shouted, ducking for cover. His men tried to run, but they were easy targets. One by one, they dropped. In desperation, the gangster boss raised 3 fingers, a signal. On the count of 3, run. And they did. But it was a trap. He lied. As his men sprinted and died in the crossfire, he used their chaos to escape alone. By pure luck, Officer Lee was reloading his rifle, giving the boss just enough time to slip away. Start the engine now, he shouted to his last driver. But as they sped toward the intersection, Su-young was already there. Finally, they arrived at Rongshang Park. But something was off. Chong looked strange. His body tensed, his eyes wild, breathing heavy. Hungry? Su-young asked with a smirk. Go ahead. Plenty of fresh meat lying around. Chong grinned wide, his monstrous face twitching with excitement. Without hesitation, he began devouring the fallen corpses. Su-young didn't even flinch. When you're done with lunch, he said, meet me at building number 8. And then, He walked away, as if nothing had happened.